Hello violinists, welcome to Pro Am Strings. I'm Henriette and today we're playing Two in a Boat from Fiddle Time Joggers. I'll play it for you first. There is a repeat which for practice I won't do just now, but I'm hoping that you have noticed when I was playing this that I was using the whole bow for every note of this piece. Now when we play the whole bow on the violin, we want to make sure that our bow arm stretches forward, so when I bow down bow like this, my arm stays straight in front, which is opposed to what people often think how bowing goes, and we think sometimes bowing goes like that. But when my arm goes sideways, you can see what happens to the bow on the strings, and it's slipping. My bow is meant to remain parallel to the bridge. The bridge is this thing here. And you can achieve playing parallel to the bridge by moving your bow arm forward so you stretch it. That's it. And today I really want to focus on this straight bowing. So let's play an A. You start at the heel and let's work your hardest to stretch that bow arm forwards. Here we go. A. Now when we've reached the end of this bow, I'd just like you to check that your point of your bow is still quite close to the bridge and that it hasn't slipped this way. If it slipped this way, anyway at all, it means that you've still gone a bit too far to the side here with your arm. So let's try this again. And it really feels like a stretch. And my elbow, as you can probably see, my elbow is completely straight. And that's the weird thing about it, because we always think that when you bow like this. And you want to go straight in front of you. So you end up with more or less a straight arm. So let's practice that A once again, shall we? Push it forwards, push it forwards. There we are. And you can see I've reached the point and my bow is still on the string and it's still quite close to the bridge. Now let's deliberately now do this wrong and let's practice what is not good. So let's practice and go sideways now. Will you join me? Okay, let's go sideways. And you can see what happens. Can you see that? Now let's do it properly. So your bow needs to go forward. Here we go. Yes, there we go. That is much, much better. Now, this happens every time you play down bow. So when you play from the heel to the point, this way, that's called a down bow. And that's when you need to work on pushing your bow arm forwards. In the up bow, you want to be careful. You don't go this way. So you need to steer your bow forwards a little bit, because there is the intriguing reality that when you play long bows on the violin, your bow doesn't actually stay, well, it stays straight here on the bridge, but actually it makes a semicircle, almost a crescent shape. So it goes forward on the way down and also forward on the way up. And I'll show you this. And perhaps you can do it with me as well. So we're still on the A string. Push your arm forward. There we go. Now you've made a straight bow and you've reached the point. And now look what happens to the point. I'm going to point the point forwards as well. Can you see it? When you're first made aware of that, that feels really weird, because your bow goes that way and then it goes that way and then it goes that way and it goes that way again. And that's what we're practicing here. So if you didn't know about that initially, you will be so much better by the end of this lesson. Shall we now play the whole song? And shall we work on pushing that bow arm forwards? Here we go. Ready? And long bows. Push it. Stretch your arm. So I hope you've been able to achieve that same straight bowing as I have. And if not, it doesn't matter, because you will get better at this a little bit every day that you practice. So practice it very, very often and really work on that bowing, and you will find that after 2 or 3 days you think nothing of it anymore. Now, you know perhaps from earlier videos that I'm a great fan of patterns, and I want you to have a look at these lines and see if you can find a pattern. I'll just give you a moment to think about that. Now you will have noticed that the first 2 bars of each line start with 3 A's, but the first line after those 3 A's there will be an E, and the second line after those 3 A's we go a string down. So that's the first obvious difference, isn't it? And then the second half of each line, you've got the first line 2 A's, 2 E's, but in the second line you've got an A, E, A, A. So they're the same notes, but they're slightly differently arranged. Why am I so fond of patterns? The reason is that it makes you remember the pieces really easily, and you will have noticed that from our straight bowing exercise. If you're able to come away from your book, from coming away from looking at the music, because you know the music in your head, you can actually focus much better on the techniques that you're using. So let's now have a go at playing this piece as far off by heart as you possibly can, remembering that pattern, because knowing that pattern will make it much easier to learn it off by heart. And then I want you to try and look in this area while you play. This is called the contact point, where the bow is in contact with the string. And when you are able to look at the contact point while you play, you get to know a lot of things about your playing. So let's go from the beginning once more, and let's see if you can keep looking at the contact point and still remember the tune in your head. So here we go. Let's get ready on the A string. Ready, and... Wasn't too bad, was it? And you will find that you know many more things in your head than most people actually realise. So we're growing into this off by heart playing. Don't worry, you don't need to play very complicated things straight away off by heart, but it adds so much to your playing if you're able to do that. So give it a go and try it again tomorrow and the day after, and you'll find that you get into a mindset of playing off by heart, which will make your progress in the long run much faster. Now, you may have noticed that when I was playing this off by heart and I was focusing on the contact point here, I could also focus more on the coordination between the bow and the different strings. Because what you want to do, if you change a string, like for instance bar 2, when I play an A and an E. I'll show you this. The timing of the moment when you go to the E string needs to be very precise. If I time the change of string incorrectly with my change of bowing, then it will sound more like this. You can see I've gone to the E string too soon with my bow. So this time, let's try it again. A and E. That's it. Now it is exactly the same. So my bow change and my string crossing are both at the same time. And I could also make a mistake, and I'll do this deliberately for you now, where I go to the E string too late. And that will sound like this. Can you hear that little snippet of A still at the beginning of my up bow? I'll do this once again for you so you can hear it. You see, I'm too late with my string crossing. So let's play this song one more time, and this time I want you to listen out to your changes of bows and changes of strings, and let's see if you can time it precisely right so that you go from one string to another exactly at the point of the bow or at the heel of the bow. So if you can play it off by heart, keep looking here, because there's a lot to be learned from watching what happens with the bow. After 2. 1, 2. Awesome. Well done. Haven't you made good progress this lesson? I hope that this has made you aware of things that can happen in violin playing, and I wish you happy practicing. Now, if you have any questions about this lesson or about any other aspect of violin playing, do write your question in the comments section below. I do get to see these and I will respond to you. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so now, and I very much look forward to seeing you in London Bridge. Goodbye.